So, did you hear that there's been a terrorist attack at the Pride Parade in Fort Fort Lauderdale, Florida? Actually, it isn't. It wasn't an accident, but that didn't stop the mayor from just outright, without any evidence, calling it a attack. So let's start with this. So it seems to be like time and time again, something will happen. Then like it seems to be a lot of like leftists and Democratic people, or like, cause I think it was like one of the what was it, a couple of months back, there was like a shooter that went into a grocery store. Then you like, oh, another white shooter, but he's like Middle Eastern, or like he's like, I can't remember, he's like Iranian or like Pakistan or something like that. I think there was a shooter just the other day, like, oh, it's another white guy, and I'm like, no, it's a black guy, and they took him alive in custody. It's like all these, like, Twitter seems to be a big like cesspool of stuff anyway. But we'll read this. This came out on the 19th. Then we'll go into this too, and this came out like a few days later. Has truck runs over 2 people, killing 1 at Florida Pride Parade. So we'll just get into it. 2 participants in a Florida Pride Parade were run over by a truck Saturday night in what the mayor of Fort Lauderdale called a terrorist attack against the LGBT community. We just heard him, the video saying that. Others, however, include members of a local gay men's choir, have maintained the deadly crash was an accident by one of its own members. Police say they are investigating all possibilities. One of the victims died from the injuries, and the other is in critical condition. The FBI was called in to help the investigation, according to the station. This kind of reminds me of the whole thing. What was it, like the whole, like, it's a different thing, but the whole like Bubba Wallace, like they had like rope pulls for the garage things, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're trying to hang. Like there's a huge, this was a horrible tragic event, but like there's like all this like immediately like wanting to, other people taking advantage of the situation. The white pickup truck carrying a rainbow-colored pride flag was lined up with other floats when the driver hit the gas and ran over the 2 would-be marchers at the start of the Wilton Manor celebration around 7 p.m., the station reported. The truck revved up real fast and just took off, parade goer David Banter told CBS Miami. The driver, who narrowly missed hitting the convertible, Rep. Debbie Wasserman-Schultz was riding in, told police that his foot was stuck between the gas pedal and the brake, causing him to lose control. There's a lot of people saying this is like a domestic, or like earlier talking about like, oh, it's a terrorist attack, and they're like trying to get Wasserman-Schultz. They were trying to, kill her or whatever. But the handcuffed bald man was filmed being marched to a police squad car, and it's just pretty much just what it depicts there. He was wearing a white t-shirt with the Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Choir rainbow-colored logo on the back, and the group's president confirmed he was part of the chorus family. To my knowledge, it was an accident. There was not an attack on the LGBTQ community. The chorus's president, Justin Knight, said in a statement, and this is Schultz right here, razzled, dazzled, frazzled. We anticipate more details to follow and ask for the community's love and support. Police have not announced any charges against the unidentified individual or discussed a possible motive, according to LPLG. However, Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trantalis, who was at the parade in the gay-friendly Broward County city, told the station he believes the driver was trying to hit the Democratic congresswoman. This is a terrorist attack against the LGBT community. He said, this is exactly what it is. Hardly an accident. It was deliberate. It was premeditated, and it was targeted against a specific person. Luckily, they missed that person, but unfortunately, they hit 2 other people. He was screaming vulgarities, the mayor claimed, although that was not evident from the video of the arrest. So it almost seems, in my opinion, that the whole screaming vulgarities was something the mayor essentially lied about. just straight out flat lied about to try to help push his false narrative. Wasserman-Schultz was pictured crying at the scene. In a statement, she says she was safe but deeply shaken and devastated that a life was lost. I am so heartbroken by what took place at the celebration, she said. May the memory of the life lost be for a blessing. A witness told the South Florida Sun-Sentinel she believed the crash was premeditated. Like, all these people are putting stuff. There's like a huge issue too, because I was listening to some Tim Pool stuff when they were talking about, they're bringing up like the left versus the right. I think they were talking about essentially like the left, the people on the left and stuff have like a higher percentage of like mental illness, whether it's self-diagnosed or actually diagnosed through some kind of like doctor. And whether like the left attracts the mentally ill, or being on the left makes you so paranoid it kind of makes you mentally ill. There's something there, like they're all like all the white nationalists, all the white supremacists. They're out to get you. They're everywhere. They're going to get you. I think, was it Joe Biden saying like they were trying to? I want to say Joe Biden was saying like, oh, we got to worry about the white supremacists. They're the biggest threat. Like, no, factually, statistically, they're not. All of a sudden, there was a loud revving of a truck and a crashing through a fence. Spectator Christina Curry said it was definitely an intentional act right across the lanes of traffic. There's like all these other people are like putting. They know what the person was thinking, even though they don't. Due to the tragic events, the Stonewall Pride Parade has been canceled, but the festival events will continue. So we go to the more recent one, which came out on the 21st. The mayor of Fort Lauderdale is apologizing for rushing to dub a car crash at a pride parade in South Florida that killed one marcher and injured another, a terrorist attack against the LGBT community. After facing intense backlash and calls to step down, it turned out Saturday's deadly crash at the Stonewall Pride Parade in Wilton Manor was an accident. According to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, caused by a 77-year-old man who wanted to take part in the event but had physical ailments that prevented him from walking. The man's 2011 Dodge Ram pickup truck, I mean, it was a Dodge, so that kind of makes sense why it messed up, accelerated unexpectedly at the beginning of the parade, striking two people and coming close to plowing into a car carrying Representative Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, Democratic Florida. After the accident, Mayor Dean Trantalis told Local10.com that he was a witness. It's terrible. They're laying on the ground. This is clearly a terrorist act against the LGBT community. Trantalis told the station Saturday. See, this isn't anything like the... Because remember years back during the Obama administration, like the Pulse nightclub shooting was essentially a terrorist attack against the LGBT at that point. Because it's like if I remember correctly, it was like a Muslim man that went in there and shot up essentially a gay club. Because I mean, if you've ever I've lived in the Middle East before, if you know about the Middle East or live in the Middle East, like Muslims just like straight up kill gay people over there. Like they throw them off roofs, they hang them. So you can call that Islamic terrorism against gay people, the LGBT. But this wasn't it. But the funny thing is, I guarantee, because they're like, it's like these leftists, these Democrats are so quick to call out somebody white for like this, but if it had been, because you see it too, if you pay attention to news, they'll start like pushing stuff under the, like sweeping it under the rug. If it had been like a brown person or a black person or something like this, that they would not have mentioned it. It's kind of, when you start seeing this stuff, it's kind of ridiculous. This is exactly what it is. Hardly an accident. It was deliberate. It was premeditated. and it was targeted against the specific person. Luckily, they missed that person, but unfortunately, they hit 2 other people. The pickup truck that hit 2 people and killed 1 at a pride parade is right here. You got the flag right there. Which it seems someone's going to like do that. I mean, unless they're like trying to camouflage themselves to get close, maybe. I don't know. The blowback to his premature conclusion was swift. Issue an actual apology along with a resignation letter, one user posted to Twitter. Another user urged Trantalis to admit I was wrong. I'd also add, I'm clearly not a good leader. It should not be the mayor of this city or any other city. I'm sorry I didn't think before speaking. I certainly need to do more of the former and less of the latter, wrote another. It kind of reminds me of the whole supposed, it is the January 6th thing, where like AOC is like, she wasn't even like, she was claiming to be attacked or whatever, but she wasn't even in the same building as the whole riot that was going on. By Sunday afternoon, Trantalis was walking back his comments. He called it the worst of tragedies and said the grief in the LGBT community is palpable. I was an eyewitness to the horrifying events. It terrorized me and all around. It terrorized me and all around me. I reported what I saw to law enforcement and had strong concerns about what transpired. Concerns for the safety of my community. I feared it could be intentionally based on what I saw. I feared it could be intentional based on what I saw from mere feet away. They have like such a preconceived like notion, narrative like in their head, and then like, because if they think everybody is like a racist or like homophobic or whatever, anything that happens, they'll like apply that lens that they have onto that and make it that way, whether it actually is or isn't. Law enforcement took what appeared obvious to me and others nearby and investigated further, as is their job. As the facts continue to be pierced together, it's like 5 a.m. doing this. As the facts continue to be pieced together, a picture is emerging of an accident in which a truck careened out of control. He continued, my heart breaks for all impacted by this tragedy. By Monday, he was trying to put the spotlight on the pickup truck driver instead of on him. Like I've seen this happen. It happens a lot on Twitter too. Well, they'll do it, then they're like, oh yeah, I'm completely wrong, and they'll try to like delete it. Or it's even worse too if they don't delete the tweet. They're like, well, it just happened so much, I just put it like that, and you go to them like, no, it actually, what you think happened so much doesn't happen so much. It's just what the mainstream media itself portrays as their narrative. So no, it doesn't happen, but that's just like your twisted way of thinking. So the apology goes to him and his family and his friends and the people that knew him. That's where the apology needs to come from. The apology needs to come from the person who perpetrated this act. Okay, it's not about Dean Trantalis. It's about what really happened, and we need to focus on that. So he's calling it a terrorist attack, and he's like, no, they're like, other people are like, no, it was clearly an accident, clearly. And I was like, well, don't you need to apologize for just blatantly lying and being misjudged? He's like, no, we need to focus on that. These people, I don't want to say it's all Democrats, but it's probably a majority of them. But it's definitely like leftists. They have like this twisted worldview, like I keep saying over and over again. But that's that I just want to talk about today. Like I really want to get in to start doing these again daily. Probably when I get off work and start doing it. But there's that. If you got any stories you want me to look into, I'm trying to just keep it topical stuff, just stuff I see. But if you see this on YouTube, you can give me a like and subscribe. On Facebook, a like and a follow. I'm also making this as an audio-only version. And I think I'm going to... I got some ideas for some t-shirts. through Teespring. I had tried some graphics with that before, but I don't know if I really liked it, so I may just stick with text images. I think that would portray an idea a lot better. I may get some of those and kind of show those off as well as the video, but I have to like make up the design in the order and get it here. But I'm like half wondering too, like with the stuff I'm planning, if like I'll try to do it and they're like, no, you can't do that, and they like just close my shop down altogether. But yeah, that was that news story. I'll catch you maybe tomorrow. We'll see how long I can stick with this, with working and everything and trying to do all this stuff. But yeah, there's that, and I'll have all the links in the description. And also I have a Subscribestar too, which is kind of like a Patreon minus the blatant censorship. So I'm gonna try to get everything going. Also, I'm putting on Minds as well. Minds is a really good website. It's kind of like Facebook with crypto and without the censorship of like Facebook and Twitter. And if I really get into this, I may they have kind of like a pro version for like content creators like me. So I may look, but it's like a more advanced paid version. So I got to figure out if I want to do that. I think I may do that. Well, we'll just have to see how my budget and stuff is. But if you want to help support me, I'll get the Teespring and the Subscribestar, because right now I'm like funding myself essentially. But yeah, that's that. So all right, later.